If there were birthday candles for our premier regional airport, winds of perpetual change would blow them out. On July 9th, 1949, 30,000 people gathered to dedicate the gleaming $3 million terminal and administration building of Seattle Tacoma, long nicknamed SeaTac's International Airport. Its 6 stories and 243,000 square feet included 8 loading gates and a state-of-the-art control tower. What's more, its main 6,100-foot-long runway was expected to accommodate the then burgeoning needs of aviation travel. Today, we become a dynamic world center, proclaimed Governor Arthur Langley, and we are justly proud. Providing emphasis for the crowd, choreographed swooshes of jets, roaring bombers, and lumbering troop carriers soared overhead. That day, Northwest Airlines christened its first Boeing Stratocruiser, a long-range luxury airliner adapted from the C-97 military transport, using a champagne bucket filled with mingled waters from distant Pacific ports brought close by air. Appropriately enough, the plane was named Seattle Tacoma. Throughout the sweltering summer's day, ice cream and soft drink salesmen did a land office business, said the Seattle Times, while thousands formed lines to inspect United Airlines, Western Airlines, Pan American World Airways, and Northwest planes parked on the loading ramp. A supersized airport had been proposed more than a decade earlier, given the limits of then-crowded Boeing Field. County officials originally favored a location east of Lake Sammamish, but Pierce County and Tacoma officials lobbied hard for its eventual site, the Bow Lake Plateau, midway between Seattle and Tacoma. Interestingly, SeaTac gets the most fog of anywhere in the Northwest, notes longtime aviation consultant Oris Dunham. SeaTac's director of aviation until 1983, Dunham was on hand for its ambitious remodel throughout the 70s. In 1971, then in training, he was on duty when D.B. Cooper infamously hijacked and bailed out of a SeaTac-bound 747. During Dunham's tenure, the terminal expanded, a parking garage materialized, and runways doubled in length. We hoped our refurbishment would last through 2030, Dunham says, but we were a couple decades off. Now it's like stuffing 50 pounds in a 5-pound bag. He points to planes' increased passenger capacity and longer range as one culprit. A post-pandemic surge in travel has only added to the pressures. And it's not just SeaTac. Airports across the country and the world continually strive to meet ever-increasing demand. Here's my definition of an airport, Dunham says with a wry twinkle. A permanent construction site you happen to land airplanes at. On July 13th, to celebrate SeaTac's 75th anniversary, the Museum of Flight will set up a fusillade of figurative candles with a lively panel discussion, including Dunham. In our first then photo, as a flotilla of military planes passes overhead on July 9th, 1949, dubbed Conqueror's Day, SeaTac's combined terminal, administration building, and central control tower was hailed as a triumph of modern design. In our second then photo, an aerial reveals the footprint of the gleaming terminal administration building, as well as open-air parking for thousands of automobiles, wide runways, and room to expand. Eager crowds could be seen touring the facility and parked airliners. In our first now photo, from the top floor of today's parking garage, departure and arrival lanes already are crowded on a late spring midday as a Delta Airlines jet climbs behind the original control tower. At upper right, a crane's yellow arm confirms ongoing construction. In our second now photo, this 2018 aerial view illustrates SeaTac's exponential growth. The boomerang-shaped modern terminal, completed in 1973, was superimposed over the original building. Its 12,000-space parking facility is reputedly the largest covered garage in the world. In our third now photo, consultant Oris Dunham, SeaTac's former aviation director, has also served 2 other international airports as deputy general manager in Los Angeles and executive director in Dallas-Fort Worth.